Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are doing another book review. Today we are talking about this book, The Witch's Heart by Christopher Penczak. This is the magic of perfect love and perfect trust. So this is the third, and I'm not sure if it's the final in this sort of unofficial series. So he talked about in other books kind of like the main three things that most witches tend to do, which is protection magic, prosperity magic, and love magic. And so this is the final one. I did talk about his other two books, so check out those reviews as well. As per usual, Penczak did fantastic on this book and covered the topic really well. Now, I had read Silver Ravenwolf's spell book, and in it had her book of love spells right in between going from his prosperity book to this love book. And so because of that, I really feel like I was judging them a bit against each other, but he really covers it so much better, and I can't speak for all other authors, but I feel like Penczak has a very, and I've talked about this before, but he has a very grounded way of going about magic. For Penczak, it's not about just doing spells, it's really about the inner work you need to do before you do the spell. And of course that doesn't just mean knowing how to meditate, how to visualize, what the correspondences and whatnots are, like the basics of magic, but like your inner work on yourself. So obviously for love magic, it does require you to do some inner work before you should be doing any kind of love spells. So he's got a number of exercises which can help you with this. Some of his meditations are really fun, like you get to find your inner king and your inner queen and see how they interact with each other. He also has a bunch of questions and different visualizations and even spells to help you to get to love yourself before you move on to finding somebody else. And of course, Penczak does come from a very unique perspective than most authors, especially on this topic, because a lot of love spells really do focus on one person finding one other person, and thankfully he does cover a little bit more variety in that. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but since he is in a poly relationship, meaning there's more than two partners involved, there's three for his particular relationship as of current, I believe. I don't know that it's changed. I think it's been like that for a while. But anyways, so he has his husband and then they have a partner. And in this book, he does talk about how that would work out, because not a lot of books talk about that. So he talks about how you could adjust these for what you're wanting to bring in, and a few different of the spells for like attracting love in and attracting a person in, and having that included if you're already in a relationship but you guys want to bring in somebody else, which I thought was really awesome. Personally, not for me. I know that my ego can't handle that, but for those that can and are wanting that kind of a relationship, it's nice that you have a little bit of representation. He does also occasionally mention some other things, like certain herbs might be better, but not necessarily required for like a gay relationship or a lesbian couple, which is just fun to see that there's a little bit of representation in there. He also goes into a lot of detail about the why we don't choose a specific person to cast a spell on, and I feel like a lot of the books really gloss over that. And some people, that doesn't fall into your moral code, you're fine casting spells on others. He talks about the consequences of doing that, having done it himself, and I thought it was really nice that he included it. He also talks about some of the more advanced relationship things, maintaining your relationship, and also other things in the bedroom. You know, if the man's having issues or if the woman's having issues, some things to help. Of course, you should always seek medical care, but it was nice that he included that, because not a lot of love books will include that. But that is a big part of relationships. Can't have a love spell book without having some mention of a hand fasting, so he does have a little bit in there. He also, of course, has things when a relationship ends. Again, you're probably gonna need something like that eventually at some point in your life. I also thought it was super interesting that he included things like your zodiac and your, not only your numerology, so if you haven't ever done that, to find like your number, is you take your birthday and you just add all of the numbers up. And so he also said to do that for your house. And that was kind of interesting because I never thought about doing it. Like you take your house numbers and you add it up. And it was like, huh. And it's like the energies of where you live, which I thought was kind of interesting. Never had heard of that. Of course, he talks about a lot of other things. He talks about crystals and herbs, of course, but also the tarot cards associated with love. Just overall, this is a really amazing book on the topic. And so far, it is the most recommended book that I could say for love magic if you are interested in the topic. Again, he comes at this with a very grounded and neutral perspective of like, hey, like, yeah, we want love, that's great, we need to do the work before we can do those spells. And then he also goes about like how to do them and whatnot, and gives a variety of different options for the spells and exercises he has you do, so you're not so stagnant in what you're doing, which is really nice. And of course, I feel like Penczak's writing is very easy to digest. It's not terribly complicated, he's not trying to sound like an academic, but he's also not so casual that it doesn't feel like he's teaching to you. It's just that nice medium ground. So of course, I would love to hear your thoughts on this book in the comments down below, or if you've done a review of it yourself, link it. Do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. I do also have a Patreon at patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Over there, I post pretty regularly. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.